18 months ago, I built this home golf simulator on an extremely tight budget. The goal was to improve my golf game with some immersive simulator golf without compromising in any accuracy, and I did all of that for $3,000. Since then, it's completely transformed into something else. But here's the thing, not every single upgrade was worth it. Surprisingly though, some of the components have held up extremely well, and I would definitely use them again in another build, others not so much. And if you're thinking about building a home golf simulator or upgrading, this video is going to be everything I've learned while taking my simulator up to an ultra 4K, fully immersive experience, and I'll tell you everything I wish I did the first time. So this right here is my previous build. I did so for just over $3,000, and that includes everything. But after a year and a half of this being my #1 hobby, testing out new tech, launch monitors, projectors, this is where we stand. So right now you're looking at my brand new 4K Ultra setup. Not all of this was necessary, and it does bring the price point up to almost $6,000, but it really adds to the experience. Since my original build, I've upgraded the projector, the launch monitor, my hitting mat, my PC, and my impact screen, and probably more. So today I'm going to break down every single component once again. I'm going to tell you what's changed, was it necessary, or would I keep it original, have I done it again? Flooring can be broken down into two different components. I've got my hitting mat, this is where I'm going to be standing and hitting, and then I have the surrounding turf. Possibly the most important component when it comes to injury prevention is your hitting mat, and there's two different routes to go. For the most budget-friendly option, and it may not look quite as nice, you can do what I did at the very beginning, which is get yourself a cheap 5x4 stance mat. These are not great for quality strikes, but they are great stance mats, and they usually stand up for quite a while. Then what you can do is get yourself a quality hitting strip. This one's over a year old, and it actually only cost me 16 bucks from a reputable seller, USA Turf Pros, and essentially cut out a 1x2 area, place this inside your hitting mat, and you now have a cheap stance mat with a quality hitting strip. This can easily save you good money. Just recently, and I did do a review on it, I got this Matzilla ultra thick 100% nylon turf. This thing is at an incredible price and honestly not much more expensive than the budget route I just told you about. Benefits of this mat are it looks a lot nicer. I don't have 3 different tones in my turf. This is realistic in the sense that it punishes fat shots. If I hit behind the ball, I'm losing 30 yards. Yeah, that was a terrible strike. Hit it really heavy. It feels great to stand on. It's just a little bit spongy. It's thick enough to hold a real wooden tee. This is about the most budget option I've seen that's still actually quality. I got this for less than 150 bucks. Other quality mats of this size might cost you $400 to $500. Now the second part of the flooring is going to be this surrounding turf. I've seen some of this turf cost as much as $1,000, sometimes even more. But if you're not willing to spend that much, and that could be a reason why you're watching this video, you can do what I did, and I highly recommend it because I have no plans of changing out this turf anytime soon. My turf is made up of 2 different components, and it's a very great budget option. These are actually EVA foam puzzle gym mats. Not super thick, but very cheap. And then on top of that, this is some 85-cent per square foot green turf outdoor rug from Lowe's. It was the absolute cheapest option I was able to find that can still double as a good putting surface if you need it to. It does collect some dog hair, but nothing a vacuum can't take care of. And it's holding up really well. Now, you try to cheap out any more on your turf, and what you will notice is it really will take away from the look of your simulator. Going this route was really important because 1, it's still well within my budget, but 2, it doesn't look bad at all. When you start getting into different pieces, people use carpet or different kinds of turf pieced together, it just doesn't look quite as good, and this is in the living room in my house, so I need it to look decent. Alright, next up we're going to talk about my enclosure. My enclosure is different than a lot of other people's enclosures because I wanted to do this again in the most budget way possible. I don't have a big EMT frame that costs over $1,000. I didn't build a wood structure. I'm actually using a small cutout that I had that's about 9 feet wide and about 9 to 10 feet tall. I have vaulted ceilings, and this impact screen is basically attached with eyelets all the way around, and some plastic anchors in the walls. These are small holes. These are very easy to repair. So for me, it's a trade-off going wall to wall and not have to worry about spending $1,000 plus on an enclosure. And this is holding up extremely well. Now, of course, there are concerns of shanks, so being a better player, I'm not necessarily worried about shanks, but with other people in my setup, maybe it's possible that there's going to be a few shanks. And so I actually came up with this shank wall. It only extends out about 4 feet, but just based on the angle coming off my hitting mat, that is plenty fine to give just a little bit of extra protection. Typically, shanks aren't coming in super hot at a ton of speed, and so this worked out perfectly for me, and I have no plans of changing this shank wall up. So my shank wall is composed of the cheapest blackout curtains I could find, and what they're covering up is a little creation that I'm pretty proud of, and that is some very cheap 1-inch foam tiles attached to a layer of cardboard. I know, cardboard. And then I attach those to the wall with screws. Again, I don't mind making small holes, a few holes here and there, to get this 4-foot shank wall from ceiling to floor, and it does a fantastic job. I don't think I need the curtain, but with the curtain on there, I have had a few balls go into this shank wall from some guests in my simulator, and it stops the ball, absolutely no damage whatsoever. And then lastly, the most important component, and the component I have changed, the only one I've changed when it comes to my enclosure, the impact screen. There are tons of impact screens out there on Amazon and other cheap retailers, but there are also very premium $400 or $500 options. When it comes to the cheap options, and I tested out 4 before arriving at this one, the one thing you gotta know, there's always more bounce back. Well, there's multiple things you gotta know. They're thinner, the picture might not look as good, and they're loud. Most importantly, they are very loud. So definitely a concern for me in the past because my kids are taking a nap and this is inside my house. And then I came across this screen. It came recommended to me, and so I decided to give it a try. This screen went viral after my review, let's just say that. It is still selling like crazy. People are messaging me about it every single day, and this impact screen cost me less than $100. It is a sound reducing triple layer with a 3D mesh, which is what you'll find in all the very expensive impact screens out there, the $400 or $500 options, and this one I got for less than $100. If you need a larger size, this is an 8x8. It might cost you a little bit more, but nowhere near what the more premium retailers are going to charge you. Don't think I would buy any other screen. I've got another one on backup just in case I ever need it, but this one is holding up fantastically, and it is so quiet. The loudest thing in here now is the ball making contact with my club. When it hits the screen, it's like hitting a pillow. Next, I want to talk about the launch monitor. There are so many great budget options out there. These are 3 of the 5 that I've owned at this point, and my original build used the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. This is a great option for a portable outdoor device with game improvement features, cameras, impact cameras that are so powerful, and it still works very well indoors. I use this for a full simulator setup, and I even added putting to it. There's a lot more videos out there on that on my channel, but when it comes to indoor simulation, do yourself a favor. Trust me, there are tons of videos on my channel about this, playing videos, reviews. Buy yourself the Square Golf launch monitor. This thing is incredible, and it is only $700. 15 years ago, there weren't many options for launch monitors, and having a home golf simulator was hardly achievable. Now, launch monitors are popping up a couple times a year, brand new options that are fantastic. This one's been out for about a year now. It includes no subscription fees, and it is the cheapest camera-based launch monitor, which means it sits right in front of the ball versus these two, which are radar-based and sit well back a ways. So if you have space limitations, this is going to be a great option. If indoor simulation is what you're looking for, this is a great option. Lightning fast shot delay, you hit a shot, look up, and it's already displayed on the screen. The shot's almost landing. The data, extremely accurate. It's a budget unit, so it may not be perfect every time. You may get a misread here and there, but overall, good enough for me to play in the simulator golf tour and have competitive rounds, and I can shoot well under par with this thing right here. So no concerns when it comes to the accuracy. It's about as accurate as all the other ones out there. But for 700 bucks, I don't think you can beat it. Even if I had a $10,000 simulator, I'd probably put this in it for now. So we've talked about the flooring, we've talked about the enclosure and the launch monitor, and I've made changes to every single one of those in my setup. But the last three things are still just as important. We've got the projector, the PC, and the software. Now, I'll be honest, not all projectors look nearly this good. This is an expensive 4K projector. This is the BenQ AK700ST. It is somewhat newly released. It came out at the beginning of this year, but holy cow, this projector is one of the best out there for 4K, but still on a budget. This boasts an incredible 4,000 lumens, which can be used in daylight, and it is a laser projector, which means it has a 3,000,000 to 1 contrast ratio compared to 10,000 to 20,000 to 1 from traditional lamp projectors. This is gonna really get you those deep blacks and those lighter, more vibrant colors. Not only that, but it features BenQ's golf mode colors. So the blues, greens, and khaki colors really pop on the screen. And it's going to give you the truest look with 1.07 billion colors. Your software is going to look the way that it was intended to look. Let's just say that. I will say, up until I got this projector, I was fully satisfied with 1080p. I got a budget projector off of eBay. It was almost 10, 11, I don't know, 12 years old. 5200 lumens, so it's technically brighter than this projector, but because it's not specifically made for gaming for golf simulators, it just wasn't quite the perfect picture. This, on the other hand, especially being 4K, I see the difference. If anyone tells you that you don't see the difference in 1080p versus 4K, they would be lying, because this is incredible. And that really allows for better immersion. It's a short throw, so it's closer to the screen, which means that my head's not casting a shadow on my impact screen. And my first projector was a long throw, which means that it did cast a shadow when I hit my wedges, when I was putting, which kind of takes away from the experience just a bit. Going 4K is truly the next step up, and it's also the biggest contributor as to why the price of my simulator nearly doubled. And that's because it requires a more powerful gaming PC. So there's two more components and major considerations you have to have for your golf simulator, and that is your software and the PC that's running it. Because I'm running a 4K projector, that means I have to run a PC that is powerful enough to support it. This right here cost me $1,500, and it has an RTX 4070 Super graphics card. If you're not familiar with PC Jumbo, it just means you need a more expensive PC. Now, the nicest part about this build is you can actually entirely cut out the PC, cut out this software, because the Square Golf Launch Monitor, which is the one I recommended, actually comes with its own courses. The Square software is able to be run off of a mobile device, so your phone or an iPad or even a PC, but the experience really is the same. Now, this is a credit-based system, and when you buy this unit, it comes with 1,000 credits, which gives you 1,000 holes to play. It's 1 credit per player per hole. And then to re-up on those credits, it's only $20 for another 1,000 credits. So you can play a lot of golf right out of the box with this. No other subscription necessary. Some of them have a $200 or $500 a year subscription just to make this not a paperweight. And the Square golf courses are pretty good on a budget. They're pretty well tailored already. You get a driving range, practice putting closest to the pin, 2 driving ranges actually, as well as over 20 courses and counting. The graphics aren't necessarily top tier, but they are very good. The only downside being the courses are not real life courses. They're all fantasy courses, so if you want to tee it up at Augusta, you can't do that with the Square software. But it is a fantastic gateway into what I'm running, which is called GSPRO. There are a handful of different softwares out there, but GSPRO is undoubtedly the best. Why? It has the best algorithms, ball physics. It feels very realistic. Not only that, but your subscription of $250 a year comes with over 1,500 individually designed by designer courses You can commission your own builds if you want your home course built and it's not on there, but it features most of the popular courses out there that you want to play, and they're releasing these things like hotcakes. They just keep coming. New courses every single week. So if you're inclined to go the PC route, which I really wouldn't have it any other way at this point, and all roads really do lead to GSPRO, this is what you're going to get. You've got a driving range, which is a lot more than a driving range. You can choose your distance, build your own hole, rotate the green, change the tee box height, select a shot randomizer, so I can hit one shot or two or three or five from this distance, and after I complete those shots, it will give me another random hole. Not only that, but practice mode also has this incredible feature where I can place the ball anywhere I want on any hole on any course, and I can hit this shot or I can hit this shot over and over and over again. Find something that you want to work on and master it. There are challenges, including a very popular Operation 36, where the goal is to shoot 36 for 9 holes from different distances and work your way up through the different difficulties. A 60-shot skill challenge, ultimate long drive if you're feeling frisky with your friends. Like I said, over 1,500 courses with different tee boxes, different gimme ranges, auto putt, different pin selections, green firmness, fairway firmness, elevation, stimp readings, and tons of wind customizations. Want to tee it up on the junior tees at this popular course in Pebble Beach, California? You can do exactly that. And recently, my personal favorite, the Sim Golf Tour, where you can tee it up against other players all over the world. It doesn't matter what simulator you have, what launch monitor you have, just start playing against other people, compete in tournament modes with different conditions, and it'll really help you improve your game, especially under pressure. Get a handicap, rank in the World Golf Rankings. The Sim Golf Tour is a fantastic add-on. So if you don't want to go the 4K route, but you do want to go the GSPRO path, which is pretty common these days, you could still do so with a budget gaming PC or laptop. The first time around, I got a budget gaming laptop for a little over $1,300. If I had to do it again, I would get a cheap desktop because the PC desktop counterparts are cheaper for the performance versus a laptop. Laptops heat up, they're not made to last forever, but you can always shop around on Marketplace, eBay, find yourself a used $500 gaming PC that will run this software for 1080p. You don't have to get something quite as fancy as this. You don't have to run 4K. Personally, I'm really enjoying the 4K experience, but if I didn't have the money to do so, 1080p would be just fine for me. So essentially, that's it. These are all the changes I've made in the last 18 months progressively, but this is really something you can get into cheap and over time upgrade things, especially going this path with the Square Golf launch monitor. You could start out as cheap as you want, get a cheap hitting mat with a cheap insert, start there and work your way up. My original $3,000 build, in my opinion, was the best way to do it on a budget without sacrificing quality or the experience in any way. And if I still had all of those components, this would still be a fantastic simulator. So if you want to check out that video, please do. But if you want to kick it up a notch, go for 4K. This is also a fantastic option. I've really been enjoying it. You can always take ideas from both of my builds and find yourself something that meets right in the middle. There are a ton of options when it comes to building a home golf simulator. DIY options make it even more accessible. Now, I stated it earlier in this video, but I do make reviews for all of these components. I test out all these launch monitors, and I go more into depth than almost everyone out there. I really pick these apart, look at them under a microscope, compare them side by side because they seem so similar, but there are so many different features to them. It's not just about accuracy. It's not just about app features or portability. It is about the individual experience for a user. How does the app work when your internet connection is poor? Do you get misreads, no reads? I answer all those in my reviews. Look at my playing videos where I talk about my honest experiences and how it is to play with different launch monitors. Check out some of my live streams. I will be going live as I go forward. I've got 3 young kids right now and going through some big changes, so I haven't done those for a bit, but my channel can really help you come up with a great budget option to get started with a golf simulator. It is an addicting hobby. I still want to play on this every single day, and I've had it for 18 months. This is unlike any other hobby. And at this point, it's almost completely replaced real golf for me because I'm a full-time dad. I stay home got my kids here, and I want to have experiences with them. And for me, being out on the course and spending 7 hours out of my day to go play golf, come home, be tired, it just doesn't really work. Obviously, this is not real golf, but once you get into it, especially if you go this GSPRO route, you will realize how fantastic this actually is, how addicting it really is. It is kind of a slippery slope. But hopefully this video could provide you with some value, give you some things to think about. If you have additional questions about my build or something you might be building, please ask me in the comments. I will do my best to get to them. And whether you're a longtime subscriber or this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. Consider dropping a like if you did like this video. Subscribe if you're interested in more. And otherwise, I will see you next time here at Unreal Golf.